My name is Alan Hartshorn, born and bred in Devon, Exeter all my life. But I'm known to me pals or my friends as Big Al. Don't ask me why, but that's what they would call me, Big Al, because I'm 6'5" and I got big hands. But that's it.
That's spot on, that's lovely. And we'll just sort of ease in and sort of ask, when did you first start coming to City?
I started coming to the city when we were in the conference, when actually Paul Tisdale was appointed as the manager. And I sort of followed him through the conference, and I'm here still now, sort of sat here watching the senior games, you know, League One, League Two, back to League Two. So yeah, I'm enjoying my football. And since then though, I was following them. Once I retired, I heard that they needed maintenance people to come in, and myself having a maintenance set skills, because I worked in the building trades for the best part of me working life, I thought I could be some useful, so phoned up Clive Pring. I had a meeting with him because he's the estates manager, and he took me on. And I teamed up with 3 other guys that was already here. As I mentioned, can I mention their names?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
And that was Dennis Ellicott, John Kingdom, and Chris Quick. And plus myself, we're part of 4 of us that come in every Monday, week in and week out, no matter what the weather is, and do our bits, what needs repairing. Normally there's a list up in the shed of what needs doing, especially after a football match. And if the away team's lost, you might find a bit of damage in the changing rooms where they've done a fisticuffs in the wall, because it's not a hard wall, it's a plasterboard wall in there. So yeah.
So you enjoy
We enjoy it. I look forward to me Mondays, would you believe it, coming up here and applying my trade.
What's your motivation then? Why'd you do it?
I don't know really. I've always been helpful, been help other people. If I got, I can do it, I'll do it, if I got the time. But I ain't got so much time now as what I used to have, because I spend a complete day down here on Mondays. But that's me. And
volunteers are quite important to Exeter City, and obviously you're a volunteer, you're part of that. How do you see the sort of volunteer culture at Exeter City?
I think it's one of the main things that City got to keep progressing and keep advertising for, because without these volunteers, there would be a hell of a maintenance bill. I think somebody last year done a costing on what all the volunteers, not just maintenance, all through, selling programs, doing all sorts of bits and pieces. And there was a saving of 175,000. I might not have that trigger, but it was a fair amount of savings, because they analysed all the hours we put in and what we done, and it was a real cost savings. And these sort of clubs, they need the volunteer base. They wouldn't survive without it, I don't think, myself personally, unless you're in a Premiership club and got bags of money and TV rights. But yeah, I don't know, it's just me. I've always been that way. If somebody wants a hand, I'll go and do it.
You were saying to me before we turned the camera on, you were saying about people in town that understand why you do it. Can you explain that again to me?
Yeah, I've got a few people that's been coming up here year on year, and they say to me, what do you get out of it? And I say, what do you mean? What do I get out of it for volunteer down here? I said, well, I get the satisfaction of helping out the club, because it's a city club, it's a local club. And the other thing is, they said, well, obviously you get your season ticket, which is, I've had this one now for 5 years, I think. I've already paid for it. And they said, well, they'll cover you for your season. I said, no. I said, what's the point of going there volunteering and helping the club out, saving money, and then thinking you're going to get a free seat out of it? That's not me, and that's the same with the other guys. They all got the same interest in the club, and they don't expect no handouts. But I will say that at the end of the year, they will get the volunteers together, and they'll give us a slap-up meal and give us a treat, and that, which they've done. We had a hospitality last year on one of the matches, the Carlisle match, and Rose looked after us. It was a slap-up meal, and we sat over there. In fact, I think it was when the smoke alarm went off here, and everybody said, you worked that quite well, didn't you, Al? Over there, and everybody had to get out of this place because of that smoke bomb. It was a Carlisle match, wasn't it?
It
Yeah.
was, yeah. I was going to ask you about that smoke bomb, because obviously you know a fair bit about this.
Well, all I know is that it was let off in the away toilet, and that's all. Because since the out of season, we've closed those toilets down for now, but there is some repair work to do in there. But all I know is that that's where it was set off, and the smoke's creeped up through the stand, because it will do, because it's directly under the stand over there. I don't know whether anything was burned or not, but Clive would have told us if it was, so I think it was just a bit of smoke crept up through.
So so you get well looked at. You have a laugh with the people you volunteer with then?
Oh yeah, I look forward to me Mondays out. We rib each other, because Chris, I calls him a plumber, and he's not a plumber, he's a heating engineer. There's two different sorts of people, but I rib him off, because he does a lot of plumbing, Chris. He's magic, especially with the water side of it and that, and putting in new cisterns and that. Because one of the jobs we had to do was back, I think it was last season, new regs coming about, you had to put another urinal into the changing rooms, into the away changing rooms, also into the home changing room. And as you know, down there's not a lot of room to sort of that, so we've jiggled the away changing room to get the extra urinal in, and also the toilet. We have got a name for it, but we won't mention it. But they used to call me the pan wrecker when I was here, because since I've been here working, I've broke 3 WC pans. Not through my own fault, just through sheer accident. And one of them was over there in centre spot. We had to take the panels off, and unknown to me, to get to all the pipe work, you had to take these panels off, and unknown to me that the clips of what was securing the board weren't all there. It was only out on by one, and I went up to release the board, because you've got to slide them up to get them out, and it just fell out. And of course, they're quite heavy boards. They're about 3 foot square, and it dropped. And to save me getting my toes cut off, I moved out of the way and it sliced the pan in half. So that was number 1 pan broke. Anyway, we managed to replace that, find a replacement and replace that. And then I'm over here in the changing rooms, changing the toilets over here for the away changing rooms. I've got another pan, and I sets it one side, because I'm sort of working to where to sit this pan to, because we've done all the pipe work. And I didn't realise I put it behind me, and I turned around and I tripped over it, and that broke because it was on a tile floor. So yeah, I don't have much luck with WC pan, so that's how I got the nickname Pan Wrecker. But they have let me loose again, and I've sorted in the Apple Centre, I have sorted out the leaks in there with Chris without wrecking any pans. But it was quite interesting to find the room down there, because Mr. Tisdale got his own room office, and we thought, well, Mr. Tisdale, Paul, you're going to lose a bit of your office, because we need to get this toilet in, this WC fitted in. So we took 1/3 of his room away to get this toilet in, but I don't know who uses it. I think Paul might use it for his own use.
It's good that you say that. You're talking about sort of the nature of the stand. We're going to talk about this part of the stadium now for a little bit. Everyone's described it as a rabbit warren.
Down underneath.
Yeah. What's it like to work down there?
Pretty dingy. It's not the best places to work, because it's old and it's not damp so much, but it do smell a little bit damp, because obviously I suppose it's creeping down through the floors. But they've utilised the space down there, I must admit. It's amazing what's down there. And I didn't realise back along where the stewards keep all their coats. I never realised there was like a little office and rooms up through this passageway. Where did this door go? And that's quite unique, really, this old stand. And of course, one time I think this used to be the director's box here, and they had their own rooms down below. The director's office and everything was all done from this end, but they've turned it over to the ex-100 Club now, and they've got a good bar facility down there, which is quite good. As far as work on this stand, when I first started here, about 4 years ago, my first job was to revitalise the ladies' toilets under the stand. It's over that side. because it was not very nice, to say the least. Not that, I frequented ladies' toilets, but it wasn't very nice. So they asked us if I could go in and rip all the ceilings out and make the space bigger, which I'd done, because one of my trades is plastering and a bit of chippy work. So, but you wouldn't believe the amount of dirt and rubbish that, because first job I had to do was strip out the old tongue and groove ceiling that was underneath, because years ago they must have, when they built these rooms underneath, it was all tongue and groove. It was a real McCoy. So I had to rip all that out, and of course over the years all the dirt from this stand works its way down underneath to the ceilings down below, and it was just sitting there. I come out black, well, like a chimney sweep man, to be honest. I was black I had boiler suit on and that, and face mask and that, but what one covered, white eyes, black. But you'd be amazed how much rubbish was up there, and you can understand why the Bradford fire happened, because these old stands, it's just like that. But I've got to admit that it's all fireproofed underneath, boarded, double boarded and everything. So the safety things have been put in place since the Bradford stand. But as I was saying, with stripping out this ceiling, it was unbelievable what was there. It was cigarette packets, but they was been there so long, they were very brittle, and there was old programs there. There was everything you could think of there that had gone in and worked its way underneath. And I thought, cool, this should be good, because if there's programs here and that, there might be a couple of old fivers here. And not one, there must have been a tight lot that sat here, because there wasn't one fiver paper money down there at all. A few coins, like the old pennies and that, but no fivers or nothing like that. I searched through all of it as I was packing it away. And I can understand it, because if you get programs down there, you do tend to lose money out your pockets. But perhaps then, back in their days, people that come here probably weren't all that rich. They might have had a few coins in their pocket, paid for their match, and that was it. It wasn't there to lose, and it wasn't there for me to find.
Probably already spent getting into the ground, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think this is always sort of traditionally for history, this has been the posh part of the ground. And of course it's all changed a lot in the last 15, 20 years, so it's kind of now it's got that older kind of character to it. I know you've been coming here for about 10 years, but working in sort of the building trades over the years, what do you think of this structure when you first came across it? What do you think of it now?
Well, when I look at it around it, and I look up all these beams here and that, and I thought, well, back when it was built to last. When you look at the steel work, I know they've done some strengthening work on certain sections. I think that was to do with the spotlights, the lights for the stadium, because they had to be supported. But and I reckon, to be honest, it'll last another 100 years, because all you need to do is replace the tin that's on the side there with the new modern stuff, and you'd have a decent stand here. All right. I know there's some subsidence down there because it's wood and onto soil, where you're going to get that with the two different structures, but it's got character. If it goes, I'll miss it. I'll miss it, because I don't think you got the same sort of atmosphere on an old stand as you have with a new one. It don't seem to have that connection there with the old people. Nearly every time when I come up here, nearly everybody knows who's who, because they've all got their own seats and that. Whether that'll be the same when the new stand is built, I don't know, but I shall be here anyway. I'm looking forward to the new stand, to be honest, because I'm a great believer in having facilities underneath. You can go before the match, which is, we haven't got much here in the way of facilities, no bar or nothing, unless you belong to the X100 club.
So is that nice when you come in on a match day? You look forward to see. What's it like coming here on a match day for you?
Well, I try to get here as early as I can, but I got other duties before. I shouldn't say this really, you might have to take us out, but I'm chairman of the Conservative Club up at Elmside, and to raise money we use our car park for match day. So I spend a bit of time up there on car park duties before I come down here. And It's a good atmosphere. I like it here. I come in early because I like to see him warming up and that. I like to get his here as early as I can, have him warming up and everything. But I won't have a pass here because it's not, it's too fattening. But yeah, I do. I like it because it's the same old chaps that sits there. I think some of them comes up from Exmouth and he always shakes my hand when I walk up here. He puts his hand out and shakes your hand. And, you know, I like that. You know, they recognise all the regulars and that.
Do you like that as much as you like the football?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think being part of the crowd here, enjoying the match. Obviously, you like to see a good game on the pitch. But I don't go home crying if we lost. I might have a few, you know, why didn't he do that and do that? But we're all pundits in a way, aren't we? We can all do a bit better. But, and I enjoyed like seeing Mr. Tisdale with his different kit on. He's a character of the club, really.
You've been coming here through the Tisdale years. Just all
Yeah.
the time with City is the Tisdale.
That's
time.
Tisdale, really. Paul Tisdale. That's all I've ever known as a manager here, which is quite unique, isn't it, really, when you think that, you know, every couple of years we might change a manager. But let's see what's going to happen this year.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You mentioned to me earlier you like to seeing the young players come through. Is that something? Is that just you, or is it all the people that sit around you? That's the thing that you all like up there.
There's a few of us like to talk about the young players and that. And of course, I got a mate here who's played. The worst thing I think you can do is sit with somebody that's played football, because you get a running commentary. Bless him, you know, I love him dearly, Ray, but it gives me an headache sometimes. You know, I would have done that, and I would have done this, and why didn't he do that? And some of the older players who played football don't seem to want to encourage the young people on, you know, to get in the team because they haven't got the experience. And I think that's wrong, because they'll only get experience by playing in the team. All right, you've got to do it gradually. Like Paul said at one of his meetings, it was quite unique with Moore Taylor, wasn't it, coming into the team from the academy, but it was they had an injury or something and he had to fill the spot, but he proved his worth, and he's been captain of the team and all sorts. So it does work, and you know, bringing them in. Well, we only got to see with Matt and Matt Grimes, and now Ollie. I'm looking forward to Ollie this year, proving himself and popping some goals in, because I think he'll be our next big pay packet.
Have you got a favourite over the years you've been coming? Favourite player? Young player, older player? Any of them?
I like Stano when he played. He put in 100% when he used to play. And, you know, never got to know him because he passed away, didn't he? Unfortunately. But no, I never. Dunny I used to like when he used to come on. Richard Dunn, is it? He put in a shift, and you do, you know, and they would admiring somebody that put in a shift. He was everywhere that way. And we haven't got nobody at the moment that will do that, but you never know, these new players.
I was thinking with this stand, each different stand around the ground has like a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
And how would you describe the atmosphere up here, and what gets the old grandstands?
Well, I think what gets them going here is that somebody, I think he's in here, he starts off by singing, what was it? We are Exeter, and then, because this is an on floor, and you get that going, and then that starts off, and we're all at it then. So you know, you can make the loudest noise. I shouldn't think what it's like underneath, but that's really good once that gets going. And of course, I come up here with the grandson sometimes, and he's looking at me and thinks, "Oh, look at that old bugger there! Look at him kicking!" But we just enjoy it, you know, get the old stamping going, get the rhythm going, and hopefully they hear it out there. I don't know whether they can or not, you know, but I do enjoy that when it starts kicking off. And the latest I've noticed is that that's come alive over there, the big bank with the drum, and that's the singing, the Red Legion. That's unbelievable, you know, because some of the matches sometimes it's dead quiet, isn't it? And that must reflect on the team when it goes dead quiet. And I think sometimes the City players are afraid to make a mistake when they're here, because they get ridiculed a bit, you know.
Because it's so quiet.
Quiet, yeah.
Do they, over there, we talked about this quite recently, but do they get you going over it? They start driving.
No, I think we do our own thing
Yeah.
over here. I think this chap here in the X100 Club, he's a bit boisterous sometimes. He goes off, but he'll start it going, and then everybody else pick on it. But I think over here we do our own thing. But we can hear him going on over there. Don't hear nothing going over there. Sounds like a deadpan alley over on that stand. Because I think it's the type of the way it's set up. You know, it's big expanse and it's open. This is more enclosed, isn't it? You know, more, even though it's the same seating area, it's more enclosed, more of a family feeling, I think, here.
How would you describe it over here, from a structural point of view? If you were describing this stand to someone who hadn't ever seen it,
I'd say it's old hat, compared to modern, but it's comfortable and it does the job. I don't know how many it sits in here, and you can stay pretty warm. The only reservation I got now is that we've had to take these boards off, because as you can see, louver vents here, well, that's designed, if the wind comes in, to take the pressure off the roof to go out there. And my God, you knows when it's drafty, where one time it was quite warm, but you got to put up with it, because they had to open them up, the vents. And look at the timber on there, look, for the years. It sounds a pound, solid. Except for the tin outside.
so you think they built this well then?
In its time, yeah, magic. Because underneath, like I said, I've done some work underneath when I opened up the ceilings, and the timber structure underneath here and the way it's bolted together is unbelievable. Real craftsmen built this place.
So
But
you admire it?
I do, yeah, admire it. Like I say, it was all hand built back then, when like the modern day stuff you use today. I expect everything was cut by hand, the salt, the wood, the timber, and bolted into place. But yeah, it'll be interesting when they knock this down, to see the timber structure underneath that's supporting this. It's unbelievable. You're talking of heavy timbers, about 4 inches, maybe 6 inches wide, and about a foot deep. Timbers running down through onto beams. Yeah, it's a fair good structure, like I say, but it has gone past its sell-by date in looks. But if there wasn't no money about, that's the way I would look at it, is recladding it.
More to it than meets the eye.
Yeah.
What about the old roof up there?
Well, as you know, the old roof is asbestos, is what we used to call big sixes. And it's all right in situ, but you start pulling it a bit, and then you've got the problems of the asbestos dust. I think the underside of this, they had to seal it to prevent any dust in that, but that's one of the biggest issues today in old buildings, is the amount of asbestos used. But like I say, it's all right. And in fact, I think they had what they call probe things that fly up with cameras on, and they'd done a survey on the roof, and they reckon it was as good, the roof, as what it was when it was first put in place, when it was built.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
I quite like all this, because I think to most people who look at this stand, it looks old and knackered, but you actually know a bit about how things are put together.
You take all the steel work out, it's just a sandblaster up there, and I know it's labour intensified, and then a coat of red oxide, well, you use that now, lead or anything like that, but give it a coat of whatever to seal it, and that structure there would be, like I say, it'd be good for another 100 years. It's a good old building. Whether the modern stuff would last that long, I don't know. I don't think it ever would. How many years was it? 1926, was it? It's a few years old, isn't it? And it's still doing its job. All right, it needs tinkering. We come in and tinker it, like do the seats and that, but it's there. It's coming along. The only issue is it's wood now, isn't it? On the modern.
Was there, you weren't coming to city then, but after the Bradford fire, was there a big concern about wooden structure buildings?
I think all wooden structure buildings, I can't remember. I think all wooden structures was looked at right after that, and they had a certificate. This one gets a certificate every year. So I'm on a yearly one now to give it a clean bill of health. that's why we come in and then make sure everything's okay. And I don't know, but I think they have got another certificate for it this year. And yeah, the Bradford one was a real eye-opener. Well, they stopped smoking right away. That was one of the biggest things, and complete smoking from all around the stadium, which was common sense. Because, like I say, it wouldn't take much to go up one of these places.
Brilliant. Couple of last questions. One is, one of my favourite bits of this whole stadium, this is really sad, but I love the old turnstiles down the front there. Is that where you come in?
That's where I come in, yeah. Everybody got to come in through the turnstiles, unless you're already in here volunteering. But yeah, I think they come from somewhere, another ground. The story goes, most of the turnstiles come from other grounds that redeveloped. And I don't know whether you know the story about the lights. They come from Southampton, these latest lot of lights, because they went up market, LEDs I think, or something like that. And I think it was Justin negotiated a decent price and they put them up, and it makes a hell of a difference lighting up the park. I think it was done mainly because when the BBC or the film crews come here, they needed a certain amount of light to do their filming, exactly like you're looking for. So they managed a good deal with Southampton and got all their lights. A hell of a good deal. I'm not sure what money was talked, but a hell of a saving for the club. That's another saving, you see. People that work for the club go around and see what deals can be had, or clubs must talk to each other and say, I got these sets of lights. And they done them. Charlie, an electrician, within a week, there was all the old ones taken down and all the new ones put up. And it did make a difference, you could see it on a match day.
A lot of work goes over the whole sort of 90 years of this stand. A lot of work has gone in over the years to keep it serviceable, yeah. One of the other jobs I'd done was, like I told you before, was the away end toilets, because we used to get a lot of bad comments on the away toilet and the away end. This is not the best, but we took a lot of stick on the away end toilets. You know, they were smelly and they weren't really suitable. So one of the jobs we were tasked, the volunteers, was to see if we could refurbish it, and which we'd done. But when we went in there, it was ordinary sort of urinal. You stand by the wall sort of thing into a channel, for want to put it worse, and it looked a bit, naff. So what we done, we took all the old splashbacks back, we thinking it was wood, because it looked like it was wood by the way it was painted. There was grey paint on there, and unknown to us, it was slabs of slate over an inch thick. And of course, when they let go, they was just hanging there. They fell down, so it was just as well we did take them down, because if they come down, they would have broke somebody's legs. It was just, they were so heavy. And in behind, you wouldn't believe it, but there was a tree growing in behind with all its roots. There was a butterfly tree out the back of the building, and his roots found his way through the walls and the back of the urinals, and actually that's what was pushing the old urinals off. So we ripped it all off, made it all safe, and I re-rendered the walls, and what we done was we put stainless steel urinals in and then painted everything with proper floor paint and that, and it made it look a lot tidier. So this has been here so long, it's become part of the environment.
Yeah.
It's built in.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Last two questions then. One, what's the best night you've ever had sat in this old grandstand?
I don't know about night, but the best match I think is the one when we played Plymouth and Ollie put in 2 goals. That was unbelievable. Thought that was their game done and dusted. But this was packed, the stand. It's very rare you see the stand packed, and it was unbelievable. I thought the roof was going to lift off when that second goal went in. The atmosphere was unbelievable, and that's what we come here for, see the one-off matches like that and really enjoy it. We were all going out there smiling all up the road, up through Victoria Park Road and everything. You see all the smiles on the people's faces. I know, because it was Plymouth and all, but it was the way it was done. That was one of the best enjoyable matches. Leeds one was a good one you remember they played Leeds and beat them 4-1 or something like that. And it was really hard work for them on our pitch because it won the best of drainage back then. That wasn't a bad match. I enjoyed that.
And how would you describe, from your perspective, in sort of as short as way as you can do it, how would you describe Exeter City Football Club? It's the one that gets everyone.
Yeah, it's way to put it. Myself, I think it's a fantastic club myself. The ethos, or what the word I'm looking for, is that it's close knit, and it belongs to the supporters. As part of the supporters, we've got the trust in that. We're part of it, and I just think it's part of City, Exeter City. I know we got the Premiership rugby out there across the other side of the city, but I don't think you could beat Exeter City in its football here, to be honest. Well, I love it, and so do my mates come here. Win or lose, I don't care. I enjoy the match.
That's absolutely perfect. I think there's one more question. I can't remember if I asked it or not. I've lost my track. But when and why did you start coming here in the first place?
Well, on Saturdays, I always used to spend the day with my mum. And she passed away suddenly back 6 years ago or something like that. I can't remember now. It was back when Tisdale took over, so a few years ago anyway. And my Saturdays was sort of non-extinct. And I thought, what can I do? I know I'm going up and watch football. I've always watched it on the telly, but I've never really gone to a match because my lifestyle didn't suit it at the time. So I used to come up here and watch the football and enjoy it of a Saturday. And then I thought, then I heard the call that, they wanted somebody with the maintenance and that. And when I retired, I went and seen, like I said before, went and seen Clive and said, I'm prepared to help you out, anything we can do. And look back since. Every day, Monday's a challenge when we come here, because sometimes we plan our work like we did with the refurbishing the patio outside the pub outside there, the Red Square bar. Well, all that underneath that was rotten, and last year we looked at it and we made that one of our major projects to do. It was hard work because we had to strip it all out, recycle all the timber again what we could, put new timbers in and do it, and that was hard work. That was a solid, because we only come in on Mondays, of course, and there's a big gap. And we managed to do it, I think, in over the 8-week period. We closed the season and before they opened up, a week before they opened up. And that was one of the projects, and that was quite good, It was a challenge for us to do it. But like I say, everything we do is a challenge because we try to recycle most of our bits, like they're having a clear out now over there. And we said, don't throw anything away. We've got to find somewhere as a storage so that if we get a breakage, we can use that kit and not go out spending money.
And that's all part of the Exeter City thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Making the most of what we got.
Making the most of what we got, yeah.